Aloha! I am so excited to be here for the first live class chat. I am recording it for those of you who missed it. So hello to everyone here now. Sundari, I hope you're out there. I know you were trying to connect. Susan, Diane, yay! So I'm Rebecca, and I have been in the healing arts field for over 50 years. I created Aquacranial. I've taught hundreds of people around the world, and we're going to do a little bit of chatting for your entertainment only. I am not a doctor. I'm just giving you my opinion after a few years of experience, like half a century, on some different things. And today we're going with emotions. So here you are at my favorite beach, one of my favorite beaches, but the area that I like the best. So you'll often find me out and about at different pools, doing out calls or floating in the ocean. And when I first meet clients, they've either just arrived because they're flying in, they're doing their travel, or they have been in a hurry getting the babies ready so that they could jump in with me and have a little bit of free time. So as soon as people arrive, the first thing I do is say, hey, hi, how you doing? I'm Rebecca. If they haven't met me, can't miss me with my blue hair. But then I ask them, are you okay? Have you ever used essential oils? Do you mind if I put some oil on you? And the first oil I use is Serenity. So those of you that signed up for this class ahead of time, for these chats ahead of time, you want to get out your Serenity and put it on. So you will feel just like, here we go, can you rip that open? Put some on with you. Now, even if I'm not doing a training or I'm not having someone down for a class for myself personally, I use Serenity every day just because it takes the edge off. And here we go. Serenity is also a great one for after your treatments, when you send your clients home, or just to use all the time. Like I said, I use it every day just because. I also use some cheer, which makes you happy, never hurts. So cheer and Serenity every day just because. But when my clients arrive down here at the beach, I'm like, hey, hi, how you doing? Come on, would you like some oils? And then just put them on them, put them on you now. I'll help you put yours on. Do you have them on? Excellent. All right. So it's just very relaxing. Good way to start the day. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put a second oil on people. And this time we're going to use Breathe. Breathe. Here you go, Breathe. You have your little packets that I sent you. Put this on now. All right. Notice the difference? You can breathe. It opens up the airways more. Plus, you notice you're relaxing a little bit more too. So that's how this works. The more you relax, the easier it is to breathe. And the more you breathe, the more relaxed you'll be. So I recommend always using Breathe with your emotions oils, and always picking an emotion oil to use with Breathe. So emotions. Aquacranial is a physical therapy. We use it out in the ocean or in pools, extreme hydrotherapy. And so what has emotions got to do with that? Well, let's say you come to me because you were having the greatest day of your life surfing. You did a tumble. You went, wow, oh my God, I love being here inside the barrel. And you knock your knee out and you come and see me. I put your knee back in. You're super happy. The knee goes, boom, right back in. No problem. We're there. Okay. But now let's say you have a fear of the ocean and someone talked you into going out and surfing. And you are so afraid. You just don't want to do it. When you were a kid, you almost drowned. So you have the fear of drowning in there. They had to pull you back up, passed out, and now you're scared of the water. But you have a new friend who says, best way to get over fear is to face it straight up, right? So you decide, I'm going surfing. And of course, your friend's a great surfer, so they're going to take you out on a day when the waves are high. You get out there, you climb on the board, you get creamed, thrown to the bottom, rolled over, knocked down, come up, and your left knee is completely knocked out, and you can barely walk and you come to see me, right? Well, I can pop your knee back into place, no problem. But we're still dealing with all those emotions. What emotions? Fear. The fear you had of the water. It's locked in that knee. Maybe you're embarrassed because you fell and you didn't stay up on the surfboard, and now you look kind of silly, you think. So you have this embarrassment and you have the fear of the water that are locked in with your knee. So we're going to have to work with those emotions to release them before your knee's going to go back where it wants to go or where it's supposed to be. Interesting? Yes. Now, let's say you come to me and I already know you have extreme anxiety. You are really, really afraid to go out today. So I've known this coming in that this is going to be happening with you. And so rather than start you with serenity, I could start you with, we've already put our breathe on. We could have already put serenity on because it's all right to layer these. But the next one we want to use is hiding in my pocket. All right, normally I pull them out of my bathing suit if you know me, so it's a lot easier. All right, adaptive. My favorite oil, better than serenity. Serenity is great for taking the edge off. Adaptive is if you're having a full-on anxiety attack. So if you have your little packs of adaptive at home, don't use your teeth to open it. I'm kind of have my hands stuck. All right, so everybody got their adaptive out? Put it on. Oh, I love adaptive. I really do. Oh, yay. Wow, I should have put this on when I was trying to get this whole thing set up, ready to go. Okay, so, adaptive. Adaptive also has pills, and it comes with a app that you can use for meditation to calm down. Highly recommend it. I'll leave a link in the comments for these oils, and if you use my link, it is my link. If you use my link, you can get a 25% discount for a year on any of these oils. But you probably have a friend already selling them, and I am not attached to you getting them from me. Just get the oils and use them. I've probably given out $500,000 worth of these oils. I believe in them that much, through Healing Hands Foundation and through Blue Hui when we had the nonprofit for 5 years. We got old and retired, but we were able to spread these oils all over the world. And the serenity that I used, doctors in India told me, and remember, these are just opinions, but doctors in India told me that our use of serenity after the earthquakes, where we had 7.2, 7.7 earthquakes in Nepal, and children that were 10 years old had failure to thrive. The doctors told me that the use of serenity helped to shift the DNA of trauma for generations. So there are a lot of people using these oils. Do your own due diligence. These are just my opinions. I'm not a doctor. I'm not selling it. This is not medical advice. It is just for your entertainment purposes only. And if you are being entertained and you find value in that, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that we can meet again. The next live will be March 27th, but if you're subscribed, I may do one before that, and if I do, you will get notifications. So subscribe. And whatever you'd like to hear me talk about in the next few class chats, please put it in the comments. I want to be here for you, to answer your questions and to help you move on your journey a little bit more entertained and maybe a little bit better informed. All right, so still on emotions. When I would do treatments on children, their parents would come to me later and say, oh, not only did you make Johnny's knee better, he's calmer. He doesn't beat up on his sister as much as he used to. So doing the treatments will help you to change your emotional state. It just helps facilitate changing your emotional state. This is not a cure, but it does take the edge off, make things easier, and facilitates your ability to work with clarifying your own emotions. I hope that helps. Anybody questions down in the comments? Okay, over in the chat. Okay. So Lisa, hi Lisa. Lisa had a question for me. She's a new client, recently had therapy, was very surprised. She came to me. She had fallen during an accident, skateboarding accident, and fractured her hip. The doctors put pins, 3 pins into her hips, and we did 2 sessions, 2 floats in the ocean, and she had other things going on. Before we could even get to her hip, I had to go through what the body presented. You can tell me, oh, it's my nose, you need to fix my nose, and your body will go, no, it's the little finger, go to the little finger, that's why the nose is out. So I do what your body says. And in Lisa's case, there had been some abuse in the past, and her head was crunched down inside of her spine. So the first thing I had to do is get her head out of her spine, move it on up, stretch that spine out so the head could be up on the top rather than down in her chest. The next thing we did was we released some of the trauma from different injuries, which was actually how I found out that she had been abused. I asked her if she'd had some loss. And later on when we talked about it, I realized that the loss she had was the loss of innocence, that the world was a safe place and that she wouldn't be hurt. And this was someone that she trusted, that had a personality change and was abusive to her. She thought she was going to die. It was bad. So we had to work with getting those emotions out, physically realigning the body so that it aligned more harmoniously. And I've had pro sports athletes get as much as 3 inches taller when their spine has decompressed. And one of the doctors that I worked with actually weighed people before and after treatment. And what he found was that people would lose up to 5 pounds during a float. And this is just stress. Stress literally has weight. So now you can't lose 50 pounds that way by getting 10 treatments. Your stress usually seems to top out around 5 pounds is what we found. But still, that's a lot of stress to be carrying. And when I'm not there, what can you do? You have your dolphins in a bottle, Rebecca in a bottle, your most incredibly amazing essential oils, right? So you can get out your adaptive if you're having a bad day. Put it on. I mean, you think I couldn't be having a bad day? I do live here. But everybody has a bad day. Don't let social media fool you. Anyway, we're getting back. We know now that emotions can get trapped in the body. We've talked about if you have a trauma and you have a physical accident, the emotions can get locked in there, the emotions from the injury itself, and also any emotions you happen to be carrying at that time. Another example that I like to use is you're getting ready to go to work and you have a lot of anxiety because you're late and you need to get there and you're doing a really important meeting today. So that's the thing that's most important to you. And right as you're getting ready to leave, your phone rings and you pick up your phone and you find out that someone very, very close to you has died, and just grabs your heart, and the grief that comes is overwhelming, but you still have to go. You still have to go. We know what this is like. You have to go to work. And so you go running out the front door, already late, grieving, and right before you trip over it, you see that the neighbor has left their bike at the bottom of your steps. And so as you're going down, you're so mad at that neighbor for leaving their bike there for you to trip over. And then you fall and you hit that knee, blow out your knee. When you come to me, or when you work on it yourself, or go to whatever therapist you do, in order for that knee to go back into harmony and into alignment, it will have to, you have to deal with the emotions. You'll have to deal with your grief. A lot of times grief is what holds emotions in for people. I get so many people that have lost someone, or they've moved when they were a kid and it's been a really traumatic experience. So loss is a big one that I find locked in people. And again, I've used my oils, the essential oils, before I put people down. Why not start it? Why not use all the tools that you have to make it easier to heal and to let go of past traumas or whatever is holding you back at this point in the reality? So before I treat people, I put on oils. After I treat people, I put on oils. When I bring you out, I lay you down, I'm putting on oils again. And this allows things to further move. One I didn't send in your sample packet is Console. I love Console. It is like a hug. It's like a hug. I used bottles of Console. So people that are suffering a loss, I will use Console on them. And I tell them it's like a hug in a bottle and send them home with it. Powerful, powerful oil. So Cheer, Console, Serenity, Adaptive, Breathe. Those are my go-to oils for working with emotions. There are others, there are plenty of others, but those are the ones that I use every day, all the time, on pretty much anyone. Can't go wrong. Hey, break time. All right. So now we've talked about we can have emotions locked in our body from different things that have happened to us. We can also have emotions, going back to Lisa. Hi, Lisa, who texted me earlier and said not only when they x-rayed that hip, she had 3 pins in her hip, and the idea was it would start to heal, or they would have to give her a hip replacement. It was on the edge. They didn't want to give her a hip replacement if they didn't have to, so they pinned it. But that was before she came to see me, probably a month before she came to see me. And then a few days after she left, a very few days after she left, she went back to the doctor to be re-x-rayed so she could see if she was going to have hip replacement or if the pins were going to be just fine. Nobody talked about what we were doing, right? When they x-rayed her, there was no fracture. They go, maybe it could still be there, but we don't see it. It's like, well, they could see it before, they can't see it now. So this was very quick, maybe unusual. I don't know. You'd have to talk to a doctor. I'm not a doctor, and this is just for entertainment purposes only. And I'm giving you my opinions and my experiences so you can have opinions of your own. So all this work we did, which was a lot, and because Lisa did yoga and had done her own practices in the past, she was able to participate in ways in facilitating the movement of emotions through her body. But it doesn't make any difference. I've gotten people who've never heard of yoga and never done any kind of self-work, and this treatment still works, as do the oils. And we are able to, it appears, allegedly move emotions from the body. Now, what happens when that happens? Does your life change? Yay! So this brings us to Lisa and her question. She's like, okay, no fractures there. I feel so much better, so much lighter, walking differently. But something else happened. She said that the person who had abused her they have a child together. So they still see each other. And she said that this time when he saw her, when they did the exchange with their child, was the first time that the ex-husband, did not give her a hard time, had changed with her. She said, is this you too? He didn't try to get under my skin. He didn't make comments to try to antagonize me. And we had no issues. The drop-off in the exchange was fine. Everybody was happy. She goes, did you do this too? And I was like, no, I didn't do it. She did it. And working with releasing your emotions will change your life. It'll change people around you. We're all one. We can go with that. And I've seen that one used in some pretty interesting ways. But besides that, when you are in an emotional state, have you ever noticed if you're around people and you're really, really angry, it'll throw them off. They may not get angry, but they will get some anxiety because you're angry. And anytime that people are carrying emotions, other people around them feel these emotions, and it can affect the way that they interact with people together. So when we shifted Lisa's emotions and we cleared those things that she had going on, that she was holding on to, and not deliberately, your body just does this, everybody does it. Love will clear everything, and oils help. Oils are love in a bottle. All right, so yes, my belief is, and my experience has been, that when people are doing these treatments, people around them also shift. And so when you have an entire family that's doing it and couples that are doing it, it's dramatic, the changes that can come about in the family. And so one more thing to tell you a little bit about how emotions can lock in the body. They don't have to be your emotions that are locked in your body. Other people's emotions can lock in your body. I had a couple that had come to Maui. They were having a baby and wanted to do underwater birthing. They had a midwife on Maui. I'm not a midwife. I don't do births. Entertainment purposes only. And so when this couple came, it wasn't exactly what they expected, but we'll skip over that part. The midwife, however, in the middle of the birth, walked out on them. She said, "Oh, this is a negative place. You're negative people." And they were a young sweetheart of couples. And the midwife said, I can't stay in this negative environment, so I'm leaving. So she left. The mother began bleeding and hemorrhaging. They had to go to the hospital on Maui. And I was called from the hospital. They were at the hospital, where I just went to hold the babies, right? And held the babies, did my thing, and asked Mama if she wanted me to touch her. And she said, no, I just want to get out of here. I want to go. And I love the hospitals here. Don't get me wrong. Hospitals are great. I think complementary medicine and complementary healthcare, where we use good food and maybe some what they're doing, and they have everything they need, and they're licensed. I'm very pro midwife. We've had midwives for centuries. But there are people that have practiced midwifery who've had no training whatsoever, and now the licensing has changed, so people cannot do it who aren't supposed to. But in this case, the midwife was undertrained. There's no doubt about that. So she freaked out, sent the kids away with the baby. They go to the hospital, and the doctor's like, great, here it is, the middle of the night, you're in trauma now, and you're having baby. And she didn't have one baby, she had two babies. She had twins. And when I touched the babies, I said, oh, you had suction with this little one, but not with this one. She goes, yeah, the first one came out fine, but the second one they had to use suction. She goes, how did you know? It's like, oh, I could feel the sucking on the head. And so what we had to do in this case was to clear the doctor's anger from the mama. And I use techniques that I will teach you that help you facilitate the client releasing the anger and the emotions of the other person. They don't even know they're there. It's not like they went, oh, wow, I took on this on purpose. It doesn't happen that way. People have been assaulted, and the energy of the person who assaulted them is still in their body. So sometimes, some people can't do this by themselves. Anything's possible. But sometimes people prefer to get a little assistance and a little facilitation with releasing the emotions. And in this case, this woman had me, and her stomach literally sank down. It decompressed. That big bubble belly she had that was all swollen dropped about 6 inches as far as the swelling went. The pain went away. She was able to nurse the babies. Life moved on. Everything worked out really, really well. They're all healthy and well these days. So hopefully I have given you a lot to think about as far as emotions and releasing emotions and how emotions can get stuck. So this is just a tiny, tiny little bit, but we do have a class coming up in Sarasota, near Sarasota, Florida. If you want to contact us for details, that is coming up May 7th, 8th, and 9th. I also do trainings in the Bahamas, in Tonga, in Tahiti, and on Maui. I occasionally go other places in the world, but my primary places are Tonga, which is about an 1.5-hour flight from Maui. Fiji is about a 6.5-hour flight from Maui, and then Tonga is about an 1.5-hour flight from Fiji. It's also a 2.5-hour flight from New Zealand, or you can come in from Australia. If you're coming from the west coast of the United States to Tonga, you have about a 9-hour flight to get there, which is similar to flying from the West Coast to Moorea. Moorea, you would fly into Tahiti and then take a ferry or fly on over to Moorea to meet us there. So this is just a little bit. I do trainings around the world. I will do up to 350 hours with you of assorted trainings, or you can just come and do a couple of 3-day trainings with me, and you'll be out there helping people to relax and release on your own. All right. Any questions? Put them in the comments. I think we're pretty clear on things today. How do I know this? Okay, so I was born with the gift. There's no doubt about that. I pray a lot, and in Tonga they call me God's canoe, so I have no doubt that it is God moving through that does these things. But I also believe that we can learn certain techniques and we can learn how to be present for people. So I studied decades to learn different techniques that would facilitate this. I've been training for decades, other people besides myself. And it's all energy. If you want to get more information, you can hit up my website, aquacranial.com. So out here today, I was hoping we might get a little whale action, but they seem fairly quiet above the surface. If you were out there with your head stuck under the water, you could hear so much whale singing right now. I know, I was down there in the water. And when I treat people in Hawaii, they can hear those whales singing while they're having their treatment, which is sublime. You don't hear them above the water, and then you lay down and all of a sudden you start to hear these singing whales. The sound is profound. So perhaps we've gotten into working with essential oils, just the tiniest bit. I highly recommend Doterra oils. There's plenty out there. Bottom line is use oils. Make sure you get good ones. Doterra has a ton of training as far as safety and how to use the oils and what they do. So hop on over to that website. Again, if you want to get 25% off, you can have me send you a link, and that also gives you access to all the trainings that they do. And then sound is energy. Oils are energy. Color is energy. We are energy. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make the next class, which is the next class chat, which will be on March 27th, about color. Working with color. I've been teaching color therapy to people since the 70s, and there is a set of color meditations. I did not write them myself. They're over 100 years old. But if you email me, aquacranialspa@gmail.com, if you email me and ask for color meditations, I will send them to you. You do one a day for 30 days, and you will be prepared for the next class. So cool to be here with you today. Remember to hit that subscribe button if you want to be notified when I'm up again, March 27th for sure. But I might just surprise you with a class chat in the middle.